Was January 23rd, 2004. We're standing in front of the Dunn House, which is located on Highway US 1 in Mims, Florida, on the northeast corner of between 46 and US 1. And we're interviewing today Mr. Taylor Dunn, who was raised in this house. Taylor, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Let me ask you, we're standing at the site in front of the house where the house was originally down here closer to US 1. Tell me about the house when it used to be down here.
Well, the house sat right in here, and this is the curbing where the kitchen sat.
Okay. And what did it set on that you told me about?
It sat on oak log, oak tree cut in sections, and that was the foundation to set the house on.
Okay. And the oak tree that is over to the side here, where was that located relative to where the house was?
This oak tree was behind the house. That's where my mother used to get switches and spank me all the time.
Okay. And what happened was, when was the house moved from this location?
The house was moved in about 1956, whenever they widened US 1.
Okay.
The living room sat on the northbound lane of US 1.
Okay. And do you remember about the day that you moved it? What happened? How did they move it?
They loaded on 2 Army surplus trucks on trailers and moved it out to the north to get around these trees. And then they set it back on the hill and set it behind the 2 oak trees here.
Okay, how about if we go up closer to the house and you can tell us more about it when we go up. Let's go up to the house now.
Okay.
Okay? The house was built in approximately between 1908 and 1910. And so we'll discuss that with Taylor and about his family who settled here in the early 1900s. We're at the location now, just in front of the house where it was moved in approximately 1950s. Okay, Taylor, tell us something about the house after it was moved here. What did they add on to the house after it was moved here?
We haven't added anything since it was moved.
Okay. Did they add on that one section?
No.
Okay. When was that added on?
It was in about probably about, I'd say 1936 or 40 something.
Oh,
I really don't know.
Okay, so it was added on before it was moved.
Yeah.
Okay, and how about the side porch, etc., that has on now? Was that added on?
No, it was all built on when my dad remodeled the house and made a second story.
Okay, and do you know about what time period that was?
I would say it was in 38, somewhere along in there.
Okay, in the 30s. Okay, actually the house looks a lot like it did when it was first built, didn't it?
Yes.
Doesn't it?
The front of it, we had added the bedrooms in front and the side.
Okay.
Second story over the kitchen and dining room.
Okay. We're going to take a look inside the house. The grounds here are absolutely beautiful. There's some huge old oak trees that adorn the front yard that used to be the backyard. It's really quite a beautiful site. How many acres are here?
There's About 5.
5 acres total? Okay. What we'll do is we'll take a look inside the house, and Taylor's going to tell us something about that. Taylor, before we go too far, let me talk to you about your family. What were your parents' name?
My dad's name was Arthur Allen Dunn.
Okay.
My mother, Mayme Louise Taylor.
Mayme Louise Taylor, okay. And who were your grandparents?
James A. Taylor.
Okay.
And Olive Taylor.
And Olive Taylor. And where did they live?
In Shiloh.
In Shiloh. Can you tell us something about when they lived in Shiloh and their son? Did they have a store over there?
There was about 4 or 5. My mother had one sister, and the rest of them were, I think she had about 4 or 5 brothers.
Okay. And they had orange groves also?
They had orange groves in Shiloh.
Oh.
Uncle David, he had the store and the post office in Shiloh.
That's right. He was the postmaster, wasn't he? Okay. And where did they used to ship their oranges out of?
Shiloh Fruit Package, they shipped them all to Philadelphia.
Okay. They shipped them all to Philadelphia for the northern markets?
Yes.
Okay. And how many acres of groves? Do you remember at all how many acres they had?
My grandfather, he had up around 100 acres.
Oh, very good. There wasn't too much over there but acres of orange groves.
But mosquitoes.
Do you remember going over there when you were a boy?
Oh yes, we went over practically every other Sunday. Visit my grandparents.
What relationship was Miss Britton to you? What was her full name?
No relation to us. She's just a good friend of my mother.
Oh, okay. All right. And she lived in the area?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember going to church over there or anything?
No, I went to school in the Shiloh school.
Okay.
In 1936. That's when my grandmother died. My mother was up keeping care of her.
Okay.
But I went through the 6th grade in Shiloh.
At Shiloh School. Who was your teacher? Do you remember?
Mrs. Shepherd.
Mrs. Shepherd. Okay.
We had six classes in the same room.
What did the school look like?
Just a little square cement building.
Okay. Where was it located in Shiloh? Do you remember?
It was right south of my uncle's store and right next to the community house.
Okay. Okay. And obviously they have torn that building down, I guess, long time ago, huh? Yeah. Who were some of the kids local children that you went to school with?
Oh, we had Sam Reagan, had Charles Mahan, Robert Patilla, Peggy Patilla, Carolyn Taylor. We had some Treadwells.
Do you have any calls? The calls?
No.
No? Okay. Okay. Well, that's pretty neat. Okay, we'll talk about your family later on, but what we'll do now is go inside the house, okay? So let's go. I don't know how you get through this without talking. Okay, this is a sidewalk and going up to the main house now. Taylor is going in. 2-story. Go back here. Go ahead.
This was our original living room, and this was our bedroom next door, and our kitchen went right in here.
This is a fireplace. Did you use that on cold winter nights?
We used it up till the time we moved the house, and then my dad was afraid we might have cracked the chimney or something. So then we never did use it after we moved the house.
Okay. Now, did you put this paneling on here?
Yes.
Over the clapboard?
We did it in 1960.
You put the paneling on in 1960. Okay.
My mother was in the hospital, So we put new ceiling, lowered the ceilings, and put the paneling on.
Okay. Now, let me ask you a question about that. Is this put over the beadboard?
Over the wainscot.
Oh,
yes.
the wainscot. So the original wainscot is in back of this. Okay. The floors, are the floors heart pine, do you know?
These are all pine.
Yeah, heart pine. And
Well, now
they
this is
look
oak
like
floor. This is oak floor.
this is an oak floor.
Yes.
Okay, this is an oak floor.
But it's got regular old pine
Okay.
underneath.
Yeah, you can see the grain in it. This is oak floor over pine, over
Yes,
heart
over
pine.
pine.
So the heart pine is really hard as a rock, and this oak floor over the top of it is fantastic. There is some damage to it, but that's can be replaced with a rather oak floor. That's great. Okay. The beadboarding is fantastic, this beadboarding. It's all in very good shape. How many coats of paint do you suppose that has on that?
And no telling. It used to be varnished.
It used to be varnished, okay, and but it's in very, very good shape. Okay, let's go through this way, Taylor, and we'll go back here. Okay, now what room was this?
This was a dining room.
Okay, very nice big dining room. Okay, with 3 windows to the south. Now this looks like in front of the fireplace, this was a little hutch that,
This was added on for our furnace.
and that you put a furnace in there. And as you can see, the original beadboard is still on the walls. This little hutch, and then the furnace is located in there with the original fireplace that was put inside. So that's the original fireplace that was in there. So actually that could be renovated to open up the fireplace into
Sure.
both sectors, which would be
Sure.
wonderful for the dining room. Excellent. And as you can see, the beadboard is in here also. And where this was located on the south side of the fireplace with the original beadboarding. Okay, and then now all of this was part of the original house.
This was part of the original house, yes.
Okay. Now we go over here to the north, and this room to the north.
This used to be a screened porch.
This used to be a screened porch, and a bathroom was added. And this was added, what, in the 60s?
No, this was added on. My dad boarded in and made my sister a bedroom. This is our main bedroom here.
This was a main bedroom with the door going in here, so this was a main bedroom. Okay,
This was porch, and then we just,
and this was a porch.
then my dad walled it in and made my sister a bedroom here.
Okay. So this was a small bedroom when you
Yes,
lived here. When was this bathroom added?
Oh,
Do you know?
later on.
Much later.
Yes,
on. Okay. You can see the tin roof on the top here, and the beams, and it was all beadboarded on the top too. The ceiling was beadboarded. Okay, looking out the 2 north windows, we're standing in the dining room. You can also see the clapboard siding of the addition here. So that's in pretty good shape, isn't it? Is that pine?
Yes, it's
Heart
all
pine. Heart pine clapboard. Wonderful. Let's take a walk into the kitchen now. We're going into the kitchen. And Obviously, the sinks and everything have been taken out of here, plus the cabinets. And somebody found use for them, I guess. The last time I was here, there was more in here. It's a really nice little kitchen, which can be expanded to the porch outside, and has some light coming in from the windows and the back door. These are the original windows in here.
Yes.
Yeah, and the cabinets. So this could be made into a nice kitchen, expanded out into the porch area. Let's go out to the. Does this have a wood heart pine flooring in it
yes,
too? Okay.
This is where the water heater was.
That's where the water heater was. Yeah. So
it's leaked.
Yeah, but that can.
This was the sink.
And that's where the sink was. Okay. And again, we have the clapboard underneath the panel board here, so it's pretty well preserved underneath the panel board. So let's go out into the onto the porch, because there's a very interesting article on the porch. And let me go out here, and this wonderful old sink. Now, what was this used for?
That's what we washed up before we came into the house.
Ah, okay. Get all that dirt.
That was the original sink over here, but we moved it.
It was inside the house?
Yes.
Okay, and you moved it out here
Yes,
so you could wash up before going in? Okay. And after being out in the groves and working out in the yard, etc. And this was a nice little screened porch out here.
This was added on later.
This was added
when
on
we
later.
moved the house.
Okay, when we moved the house. All right. And we'll come back outside a little later. We'll go in and talk about the outbuildings too. So let's go upstairs. Okay, to the north is, was this the addition?
No, this is the original room.
This was original room, okay, and again, had a nice big window in the front, and this was a bedroom?
This was a bedroom.
Okay. Is there beadboard in back of this?
Yes.
So the beadboard is all in back of the paneling, which is wonderful, because it's been preserved. And then over here off of the bedroom, was this the master bedroom?
This was the only bedroom.
And this is the only
This
bedroom.
was it.
And this was it, okay. And then this was a closet underneath the stairwell, which is also beadboarded. The whole house was lovely beadboard, and it's all in very, very good condition. Okay, so this, all the downstairs, all of this was part of the original house.
We had well, there's 3 rooms here. This and the living room and the dining room was the kitchen.
Okay.
That was the original.
That was the original.
That was the original house.
Okay, and then when did they add the upstairs? After it was? No, before it was moved, in 36.
I'd say in 36 to 1938 somewhere.
Okay, somewhere around there. Okay, so now we'll go upstairs. Okay, we're going upstairs, and as you can see, the stairway is in very good shape. Again, totally beadboarded all the way up, as is the ceiling. Very good.
Original house here, the 2 rooms here.
Okay, where this division is here?
Yes, right here.
Okay, and this was the original house, all in the front. Okay, and let's walk through here first then, okay? We'll walk through here first. Beautiful beadboarding, nice windows with lots of light coming in. And this was where the little balcony or opening was originally, and you can see that evidenced by the addition of the bottom braces here. And this whole area was where the open sort of balcony was, and they made a window out of it. So let's go in here. And this is a lovely room on the north side, and it has 2 windows to the north with most of the panes still in here, 2 to the west. Now, whose bedroom was this?
This was guest room. We always called it the Mayme Tally room.
The what?
We had a boarder, Mayme Tally.
Mayme Tally.
Mayme Tally. She was bookkeeper for the exchange.
Oh my goodness, for the citrus exchange?
Citrus exchange.
And she stayed in here.
We rented a room.
How much did you rent it to her?
I think it was $30 a month with food.
Wow, what a bargain that was. So she actually became part of the family.
She's part of the family. She sure was.
Now, Mayme, did she have any folks living in the area, relatives?
No, she married Bernard Roberts.
Bernard Roberts, okay. And then she moved and made her own house.
Oh yes.
Okay, but she was single when she lived here.
Yes.
Okay, that's wonderful story. Okay. So she had a nice room with a built-in closets. Whose room was this?
After we rebuilt it, this was my sister's room.
Virginia?
Virginia.
Her sister
This is
Virginia.
where my mother always had the quilting parties and all that with.
Oh, this was the quilting party room, huh?
Yes.
Well, I can understand why, because this is one of my favorite rooms in the house because of the beautiful sunlight that comes in from the south windows, and it's very, very light. So that's, and very cool because of the cross ventilation of the 2 south windows with the 2 west windows. And so you got a nice cross ventilation. And this is great. And now this is, what type of flooring is this?
Pine.
This is pine.
You see what the termites.
Yeah, termites have been in here. But actually a lot of it is in pretty good shape. So, okay.
75, 80 years old.
The flooring, yes, at least. I can just imagine what it was like in this beautiful sun-filled room with a quilting bee and just, is this the original staircase
No,
that was in here?
I think our staircase went the other way. I don't remember really.
Okay. It possibly might have went the other way.
I think it did.
Okay, so that was marked up here and it came up this way possibly. Okay. Because of the addition.
Yeah.
Yes, it probably did go the other way. Okay, so the staircase in the original house went the other way because this was, this came up this way. Because the back of the house where the division is here was not here at the time. Okay, so this addition was added on in the 1936, 38.
38 somewhere.
About 38, okay. And what do we have back here then?
This used to be another door. We had another room. This was my room.
Oh, that was Taylor's room in that door. And, okay. Nice big wide hallway, linen closets. Okay. And we go into this room.
This is where the wall was, right here.
Okay. And evidenced on the floor, you can see visibly the marking of where the other wall was in here. So everything to the west of this here was part of the old house. And also, Taylor, there's beadboard in back of these paneling. And again, we have 2 double windows on the south side looking out, and 2 windows looking to the east. Heart pine flooring Or is this oak up here? This looks like oak.
It is pine.
Pine, okay. Pine flooring. And then this was a bath here that was added later. Okay. And a beautiful view looking out the east window of this magnificent old oak tree. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? With its arms stretching out and the Spanish moss. Whoops. Okay. Okay, Taylor, when another room was located on this side of the house, which is on the south side of the house,
yes,
in the stairwell, and that was your room.
That was my room.
Okay, and when was it boarded up?
After I left.
After
a long time ago.
Oh, okay. Before.
My dad made this a bigger room.
Okay.
A bedroom, combined the rooms.
Okay, so that's where the division in the floor
yes,
is,
yes,
between your room and the other room.
Yes.
Oh, okay, very good. Yeah. Do you remember when you lived here some of the things that you did coming up and down the staircase, or any stories about?
Not really.
Not really.
Just getting up and down.
Getting up and down. Okay. Let's go back downstairs then, and we'll go outside. Just a minute. Taylor, do you remember about some of the ladies who used to have their quilting bees up in the room?
Yeah, it's just all my mother's missionary society.
Okay.
Mrs. Folsom, I know, was in it.
Okay.
And Mrs. Britton and Mrs. Burleson.
Okay. All the old timers,
All the old timers.
And this was from the First Methodist Church?
Yes.
Okay. We're walking on the north side of the house, and this magnificent old oak tree here. Taylor, do you remember playing under this oak tree?
No, this is a fairly new tree.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
My heavens.
It's grew since we put the garage here.
It's huge. Goodness gracious. Yeah, otherwise you couldn't get into the garage, could you? Well, it certainly has grown. Now, when was the garage built? Do you remember?
This garage was originally a Gertis garage over across the street on the southeast corner.
Oh, okay.
This was moved, and then we moved it to a lot over here to use to get the stores. Then when we moved the house, we moved this garage.
Okay. And you used to keep your car in here?
Yes,
What kind of car did you have?
a Buick.
A Buick? What year?
Well,
Do you remember?
I don't remember. The first one was about a 1951.
Okay.
We had a 34 Ford before then.
Okay. Okay. Let's go out here. Now, is this all made out of heart pine also? The clapboard on the outside?
Yes.
Okay. So some of this can be salvaged to use.
I gave away all this this siding here.
Yeah.
A fella needed some. Boot Sharp needed some for his house, and he had to match this. So he came.
Wonderful.
So I gave it all what he needed.
That's great. It's wonderful to recycle these old boards for use in other structures to preserve the integrity of the buildings, and that's great. You have some really fine boards in there also that are cross timbers that are real large. They must be 12s, huh? 1x12s, which are true 1x12s. What were these boards?
I think they were shelving boards.
The top looks like that might be a front to a cabinet or something on the top.
I don't really,
What?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know this here.
Okay, so there's still a lot of clapboard on the back and a lot of cross beams because they're going to tear this building down too, aren't they?
Yeah.
Was that a workshop in the back through the window?
Yeah, we built that after we moved this garage. Built this for my dad. He had a little workshop.
That
there.
workshop, okay. Yeah, interesting, all right. Nestled amongst the trees and vines to the south of the house is the most prettiest little structure. It's made out of board on board, and we're going to go over and Truman is going to tell us about the building. Isn't that picturesque? In the days that it had its spot in the sun, it has given way to weather and time. Okay, this is looking at the south side. It's absolutely beautiful building with a porch that wraps around all the way to the east side. What an interesting building this is. I bet you have lots of stories here, huh? Some. Just be careful. Can you get over it? Do you need my help?
No, I need to
Go around the other side.
In 1949, 49,
Oh, neat.
we had a little house where I started out my housekeeping here when I got married.
Over here?
Yes, it's well, I can show you the back steps. That's all we got left. So,
Right there. I see them.
but it was a mechanic's house when we started out, when we had Dunn's garage. We had two houses for the mechanics, Wallace Fagan and Jimmy Walker.
Wallace saying it. Two old timers.
And this was the original garage right here for Wallace. And this is add-on later. But this
Okay.
was the,
But this was the
this is
original.
the original garage.
Oh my goodness. And what's the time period of this? It's not
It'll be 19 in the early 30s.
in the early 30s. It's set up pretty well. And then you can see where the tin building starts over here and goes in here. And this was added later. And this was the original garage. And there's an old tin of soda crackers sitting over there, Taylor. Now we could say that they were left here before when you were working in here for your snack.
This was my workshop here. I poured the floor into it.
And this was used as your workshop. What was a typical work day in here? What
Oh,
did you do?
I had a table saw and a jointer,
Oh,
band saw, just woodworking.
just woodworking. Ah, and what did you make?
Chairs, tables.
Really? Do you still, is this one of your chairs?
No.
No? Okay. Did you make them for yourself or did you make them?
For myself.
Okay. All right. Is this your boat back here,
No,
Taylor?
I don't know where it came from. Whose it is? We kept our car parked in here.
Okay. All right. So this was a part. Actually, you know, these beams in here and the roof and the beams are in very good shape. They almost look new, don't they? Amazing. When you have good wood, it lasts, doesn't it, Taylor? Yeah. And they were the steps to your little house over there?
Over there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Over to the south. Okay. Taylor, did you have any animals out here?
We had a little Cocker Spaniel, and they had a cat.
Okay. Did you ever have any chickens?
Oh yes, we had chickens.
Is there a chicken pen over here on the
Used
farm?
to be.
Okay. Yeah, and you kept chickens. Did you have a little vegetable garden?
No, we didn't have a vegetable
Good
garden.
garden. Okay. Well, did you have orange groves?
Yes,
Okay. Where were your orange groves located?
up in Scottsmore.
In Scottsmore. And how many acres did you have?
Started out, we had about 20.
Okay.
And we ended up with about 85. So it's
Okay. And what's happened to them?
froze.
Froze like everything else.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have about 15, 20 acres now of groves.
Okay. What kind of orange? Were they all oranges or were they?
There's all oranges and grapefruit.
Okay. What kind of oranges did you have?
Had mostly Parson Browns and Hamlins.
Okay.
And then we had one Valencia block.
Okay. And how about your grapefruit?
Had some old Dunkins.
Oh.
It was right in the center of the grove.
Oh, good grapefruit, weren't they? Okay. And did you sell them out of the Shiloh packing house, or what did you sell them out
The
of?
Dunkins, some of them we did.
Okay. But
That
most
was
of
the original.
But did most of them were shipped to the northern markets?
Not the Dunkins. I think they went mostly to the can.
Okay.
They didn't bring any money. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Is there anything that you can remember about your mom and dad and the days of the when you did you start the Texaco station and build
Yes,
that?
that was back in about 19. Well, he started the Texaco in about 1929.
Okay.
That's,
All right. And then you picked up after him.
well, we just built another station.
Okay.
We had Dunn's garage here.
Dunn's garage. Okay. What kind of cars did you used to work on?
Everything, old Hupmobiles, Dodges, and Model Ts and Model A's.
Okay. I understand that you built a dune buggy.
Oh yes.
Where'd you get the parts to?
That was a 35 Ford chassis, and we just made the body.
Oh, welded it all together?
Oh yes.
Nothing new about recycling,
No,
is there?
nothing.
And where did you take your dune buggy?
On the beach turtle hunting.
Oh, uh-huh. And what did you do with the turtles?
Well, we turned them back.
Oh, okay.
You couldn't take them.
Okay. Let's talk about some of the old days and what went on around here in friendly Mims. Okay. And some of the elders that you mentioned, Mr. Burnson and the Folsoms, and who were some of the other old timers here in your day?
Well, the Herman houses,
Okay.
and my uncle lived next to them.
Okay. And where did they live?
They lived right north of the Herman houses, and then C.T. Vining lived next, and then old Doc Stanley.
Okay.
He lived right next to the school. He was a janitor when I went to school.
And where was the school located here then?
Same place.
Same place.
The old school was same place.
All right. And when you went into the service, when did you go into the service?
In 1942.
Okay. And what branch of the service were you in?
I joined the Air Corps. Started in the Army Air Corps.
Okay.
And originally got to the Air Force.
Okay. And tell me the story about getting your two medals. Your two.
Well, when I got to pre-flight, they needed 20 students for a good neighbor policy to the British Flying School, which was in Clewiston. So I happened to be one of the 20 cadets that went to the RAF school in Clewiston, Florida, number 5 BFST. So when I graduated, well, I got the British wings, the RAF wing, before I got the American wings.
And then I understand you were in the Ripley's Believe It or Not, was it?
Oh yes.
Okay, well, tell us about that.
Well, my first cousin, Robert Patella, he and I joined the Air Force just about the same time, and he graduated. He went to a Navy flight school, so he got the Navy wings, flying the OA-10s, and he got the Navy wings and the Air Force wings. So my uncle had us put in Ripley, believe it or not, and two cousins got 2 sets of wings at the same time.
Isn't that something? Yeah. And what year was this? In
1944.
1944. What campaign did you fight in?
I just flew in the Pacific all during the war.
In the Pacific?
In hospital evacuation.
Okay.
And the troop carrier outfits.
I see. Okay. And you came home and resumed life and.
I just came home with the Groves and
yeah.
got married in 46.
Uh-huh.
No, 48.
48.
48.
Okay. And that's wonderful. And what changes when you came back from the war? Were there many changes in Mims?
Not really, not too much.
Not too much. Okay. Was Dunn's store down on the corner? Duff's.
Duff's. It was in
It was still there.
Still there, and they had the post office.
And that's where the post office was. How about Sharp's Meat Market?
Sharp's wasn't there then. Over had a grocery store where the post office used to be.
Okay,
Next to Over.
Okay.
And then Librand had a store here.
Okay.
And Nolly had a general store.
Yeah, Mr. Nolly. That's right. They are all from Mims. Who lived in the house next to Shealy's now? Next to Shealy's business? Who lived in that house? Do you remember?
I don't understand what.
You know, on this side.
Oh, you mean J.T. Shealy?
Yeah.
Yes. Huh?
Yeah.
That was Mitch Bevel.
Mitch Bevel.
Mitch Bevel lived in that.
Okay. What relationship do you know what he was to Dan Bevel?
He was his brother.
His brother. Okay. And do you remember Wilbur?
Oh yeah, Buddy Bevel.
Yeah.
He gave me $5 a month for heating water in the old, so he could take a shower when he came home. we had a shower in the barber shop.
Oh my goodness. And where was that located?
It was right next to the house. Here.
Next to the house?
To our garage.
A barber shop?
A barber shop and a candy kitchen and apartments above it.
Oh, wow. Isn't that neat? And what went on in Mims on a Saturday night, for instance?
Everybody go up and down the street in Titusville. Nothing happened to Mims.
Everybody went to Titusville, huh? Do you remember when anything about Alan Taylor's store over at Shiloh?
Yeah, that's David Taylor.
David Taylor.
Yes,
David Taylor. Excuse me.
Oh yes. Huh?
Yeah. And the little post office was there. What did the little store look like?
It's just a little general store. It had a porch all the way around it, and they lived in the back.
It was a little wooden store.
A wooden store, and they had it upstairs, and a post office in one corner.
Yeah. Okay. And how did they get across from Shiloh? They had to go all the way around to get over here through Oak Hill and around, right?
Yeah, they came across the Shiloh Point.
Yeah.
Come down US 1.
A lot of people don't know how far that is.
No,
It was not easy to come to town, was it? How about the mosquitoes?
they were bad.
What did you do for them?
Usually at my grandfather's house, they had a coffee can with a rag burning and B-brand insect.
B-brand powder?
B-brand insect
Powder.
And
Yeah.
always had a fan next to the door where you brush yourself off.
Did you have a mosquito beater?
Well, I guess it would. It was part of the problem. You know. They had a brush every door when you come in.
Yeah. How about other critters around? Did you have problems with way back in the 20s and 30s? Did you have problems with armadillos out here at that time?
Did later on,
But not in the early days.
Not early days.
I understand they came later.
They came about 19 when a circus wagon turned over or something around City Point. That's where they came from.
And boy, did they ever come.
They multiplied. They sure did.
Did you ever, when you went out to visit the Taylors at Shiloh, did you ever see any Florida panthers or anything like that?
No, not when we were staying up in Shiloh. A lot of time we'd hear one and scream like a woman or something. So
Oh my goodness.
real high pitched screams.
How about the wild hogs?
I didn't see too many of them. No.
No. Snakes?
Snakes, plenty of them.
Plenty of them. Any poisonous at all?
Rattlesnakes.
Rattlesnakes, yeah. How about alligators?
Not too many.
No. Did you ever go fishing out at Salt Lake or on the St. Johns River?
Used to later on.
Okay. What'd you catch out there?
Oh, bass. And
Big
brim.
ones?
Big ones, huh?
Yeah. Did you, you know P.W. Roberts?
Oh, yeah,
Okay. Did you ever, I understand they have a hunting camp called Big Camp with the Sharps.
No.
Did you ever go out there?
No, I never did.
Did you ever go out to any of the hunting camps that
No,
used to be out
no,
in the wild? Do you remember any of the moonshiners that were around?
Oh, yes. Plenty of them.
And a lot of people don't understand that in the Depression days, that was just another viable way of making a living, to make ends meet. And I understand that there was a still out north of Lake Harney.
Oh, yes.
Okay, do you know who ran that?
Yes.
You're
That's all right.
Yeah, oh, we're not going to tell. Huh? Okay. Do you remember the Turpentine camp that was out there off of 46?
Yes.
Do you remember any of the people who used to live there?
O.C. Russian. He ran the place.
Oh, O.C. Russian ran it? Mm-hmm. Oh, how interesting.
His dad did, and then O.C. took it over when they moved it up here, over here.
Okay. Do you remember Kelly's Turpentine?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Where was that located?
It's right where Fuel Tech is right now.
Okay. On US 1?
On US 1.
What happened to that?
Burnt.
It burnt? And about what period of time? Do you remember?
I don't really remember.
Okay. The Kelly's on US 1, that was the processing plant. What did they do there? Do you remember?
That's where they brought the rosin and where they cooked it.
They cooked it there. Okay. Do we have any pictures of that anywhere in Mims, do you think?
Not that I know of.
Okay. What was Old Man Kelly like? Do you know where they came from or anything about them?
They came up from Destin. C.L. Kelly and Jim Kelly.
Okay. And they came from Destin, Florida?
I believe that's where they came from. That's where they ended up anyway.
Okay.
Came from.
And when did you say it burned down? About what period of time?
Turpentine?
Yeah. Do you remember?
I don't know. It was after I got back from the service.
So it had to be in the 50s maybe, or late 40s?
Probably in the late 40s or 50s.
Okay. How about the Turpentine camp out off of 46? Do you remember when I understand they referred to that as Newtown? Do you know when that was all depleted?
I sure don't.
Okay. How about the prison camp?
I remember it.
I remember talking to Mr. Sharp. They used to work out there. And do you remember?
They came in and got water from our garage.
Really?
A big tank for the prisoners because they couldn't get good water there.
Yeah, because it was salt, huh?
They bring a tank about twice a week. Big tank, and we had a pump and fill it up and take it to the prisoners.
Yeah, actually, what those prisoners did was build the roads, right?
46.
And they built 46 to St. John's.
Yes,
as I understand. Before that,
that was a chain gang there.
That was a chain gang.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you and Sharp was the overseer of that project? Do you remember?
I don't really know.
Okay, I know P.W. Roberts had Senior had something to do with it. Yeah. How about the Kaisers? The Kaisers were an old family.
W.B. Kaiser?
Yeah.
That's Preacher Kaiser.
Preacher Kaiser. And he had a Baptist. He was Baptist.
He was a Baptist, huh?
Right.
He was a preacher at first.
Okay.
Then he went to Scottsmore and built a little church.
In Scottsmore?
Yeah, after he retired.
Ah.
He was my dad was county commissioner. He was my dad's road foreman.
Oh. When was your dad county commissioner? What years do you remember?
Started about 1928, 29. He was commissioner for 24 solid years.
He was. And what was his name again?
Arthur Dunn.
Arthur Dunn. Okay. Well, he did, and he built a lot of roads here in the county.
He dug all the ditches on the section lines, draining the hammock land to the river. So.
I see. Very good. And that's why we have all this farmland out here today, right?
Well, they were there, but they're drained.
Do you remember anything about, in the early days, about Indian Mound Station or the tramway that came through? Stories about those things?
No, I sure don't.
Okay. How about the rock pit over here? Do you, up the street, the rock pit? Do you remember that at all?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Did you go swimming in the rock pit?
I sure did. PW.
And Sammy Hendricks.
Yeah.
Sammy said y'all used to go skinny dipping. Is that true? But I understand the water was crystal clear.
It was.
Yeah. And this was in the 30s and.
It had to be in the 30s.
Yeah, because you were teenagers, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And what happened? Is that what they used to work on the roads with?
That's what they paved the road with, the coquina shells.
Okay. And then after they did that, they filled it in.
They filled it in.
Do you remember when they filled it in at all?
I sure don't.
Yeah.
I remember going up to swim in it.
It's nice, huh? Cool water. Yeah, I understand also that from the African American community, they used to also baptize in there later on. They also went out to Salt Lake Landing and baptized out there. How has the river changed from the early days? Do you see any significant change in the rivers at all?
Just no fish anymore like it used to be.
Yeah. I understand in the early days that the fish would jump in your boat.
Oh yeah.
Especially the mullet, right?
Always catch, yeah.
Yeah, and always catch good fish. How about the turtles? You said you used to take your dune buddy. Did you go up to Playa Linda Beach, DeSoto Beach?
Playa Linda, and we go up to the Cape and back.
Okay, and a lot of people don't know what you do with a dune buggy, but they sure were a heck of a lot of fun. Tell us, for the younger generations, tell us what a dune buggy did.
We just went on the beach where cars couldn't go. So
Yeah.
had big tires and let the air down real low, and then you could drive on the beach.
Go a long way, couldn't you?
Hunt turtles.
Yeah.
We had to drive along till you see a crawl, which looked like a Caterpillar tractor that crawled up and down the beach. And they had one crawl where you'd go up and look, and you saw two crawl, you knew it already came and gone. So.
Yeah. And that was popular back then, and also just taking the dune buggies and going out there and having a day at the beach and picnic and swim and just have fun, huh?
Right.
Yeah. And that was a lot of fun and simple fun.
It was.
Huh? Yeah. Before NASA took over North Merritt Island, it was pretty pristine, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Do you remember the Wilsons or anybody who lived out there? The Wilsons. Do you remember the Honeywells or any of those people at all? Yeah. How about the Patellas? You said they were your cousins.
Patella, yeah, that's my mother's only sister.
Okay. And they lived up on the north in Shiloh.
They lived in Shiloh.
Yeah. Do you remember Frances Thrickle? She was a Thrickle.
Oh yes.
Yeah. You went to school with her?
Frances Thrickle.
Yeah.
School with her.
Yeah. And the Thrickle girls. Okay. How about Aileen Brenson? Do you remember her?
Oh yeah, I knew her.
Okay. And Do you have any funny stories to tell about anybody?
Not a thing that I know of.
Okay, but did you ever have to take a boat over from the north part of the island over the river to go back and forth
No.
for transportation?
No, we always drove.
Always drove from Oak
over
Hill.
around Shiloh Point.
Okay, and do you remember? When NASA took over? Did they tear all those houses down and everything that was north?
They moved a lot of them. I had a beach house over there, and they moved it. It's up over in East Mims.
In East Mims? Okay, so it became a viable house for somebody to live in then.
Used to be, now it's closed up.
It's closed.
Boarded up. So.
Okay. How about when NASA took over? Do you remember some of the reaction to some of the people that had to move? Did they want to move?
They didn't want to move.
No, they didn't. And I know a lot of them were displaced, and because that was their home for a long period of time. Did you know Arthur Campbell?
No.
Did you know the Campbell family?
No.
Okay. Did you know the Waltons?
Walton? I knew
Henry
them.
Walton?
I knew them real well.
Okay. He was an old timer, and he had groves and everything.
Cecil Walton and,
Cecil.
and Dorothy Walton.
Yeah.
She went to school here in Titusville.
Okay. Do you remember the fish camp?
Oh, yeah.
What was it called? Do you remember?
Well, you mean Allenhurst Fish Camp?
Mm-hmm.
Bill Teague had that.
Bill Teague had it.
He was a bridge tender.
Yep.
So he's
And there was a bridge over the Oliver that was
all
that.
over the canal, yes.
Right, and then he was the bridge tender there, wasn't he?
Right, that's where it was. Huh?
Okay.
That was our big Sunday afternoon when we go see Grandpa. We'd go down to the canal, and a boat came by. Mr. Teague would let us open the bridge. We'd walk around in a circle with the big handles, opening the bridge.
That was all done by manual labor, wasn't it?
Manual labor, yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember the Allenhurst Hotel?
Oh, yes.
Okay, and who took care of that? Who ran that?
I don't really know.
Do you remember?
I remember it.
Do you remember when Rockefeller came down there at all?
Yeah.
Do you? Well, is that exciting?
Not really.
Nobody really knew who he was.
No.
I understand that was a big time, but a lot of people used to come down there and stay, didn't they,
yes,
over the winter? And actually, it was quite a wonderful place for sportsmen. Do you remember the Canaveral Club?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what did that look like?
It's just a big old house, but it was closed up when we was going to the beach and all that.
Yeah. Did you ever get to go inside
Never
of it?
did.
Never did. I understand it was fabulous. It was the Canaveral Club was started by millionaires from Harvard and Yale.
Yes.
And you had to be a millionaire, I guess, to belong to it, huh? But it was a hunt club, fishing club, wasn't
Hunt club and fishing club.
Yeah, and they hunted on North Merritt Island. Is there anything else that you can think of that you would like to relate about the house or the garage? Or when did the garage close?
Bertha Andrews ran it after we closed it.
Okay. You closed it when? When out of the Dunn family when?
I don't know, about the time we widened US 1.
Okay, in the
My
50s.
uncle ran it. My dad, when he was county commissioner, he just quit taking an active part in the garage. So my uncle ran it, Truman Taylor.
Truman Taylor. Okay. And then it was sold?
It never was sold.
No, they just took over operating it. Okay.
The business was sold.
Okay. Okay. When did the Dunns cease to live in this house?
1966.
1966. And then it was a rental?
Yeah, I rented it out.
And you rented it out? Okay. And when did it cease to be a rental?
When they tore it up.
When they tore it up.
Yeah.
Has that been like in the 90s or in the...
Oh, yes. That was, I think Buck Jones had it last.
Okay.
The last one's in it.
Okay, and so then it has just been sitting here
It's just
since
been sitting
then.
there.
Okay. Well, it's a lovely, lovely house, and hopefully we'll be able to save it to be restored, moved and to be restored. I understand that a shopping center is going to go on here.
They say it is. I don't know.
And which will be wonderful for the community, for the Mims community. But I hope that they leave some of these beautiful old oak trees, and especially the jacaranda tree. Tell us the story of the jacaranda tree.
Yeah.
Tell us the story of that. It was here.
It was, I think Mrs. Britton gave it a little tree to my mother.
Okay, Lillian Britton.
Lillian Britton.
Okay.
And my mother used to get seeds off of it, so she gave me trees. I have about 7 or 8 trees in my house growing now.
Oh.
She used to get the seeds and plant them and let them grow and give away trees.
Who was Lillian Britton? She was she akin to the Mims family?
Yeah, that was Lillian Roberts, her aunt.
Yeah, Lillian Britton was belonged to the Roberts family.
That was her. I think that was Lillian. Dad was her brother.
Was her brother? Okay. And do you remember any of the Mims that lived here?
Oh yeah, grandmother Mims. She was well, she's some kind of kin to me. My aunt was. I guess my aunt was I don't know what she was.
Cornelius? Cornelia Mims? Okay, that was your aunt?
No, my
Great
aunt was Eva Taylor.
Oh, was Eva Taylor,
And
right.
I believe grandmother Mims was probably her aunt.
Okay. So actually, when it goes back generations to generations, doesn't it?
It goes on. Yeah.
And there were wonderful old pioneers of this area that settled this area back in the 1800s, planted groves. And do you remember where all of them came from?
I sure don't.
Where did your kin come from?
My dad came from Georgia.
Georgia? Do you know where in Georgia?
Around Tunnel Hill.
Tunnel Hill.
And my mother came from Kentucky.
Okay. Do you remember where in Kentucky?
I think it's right across from Golconda, Illinois.
Okay. Good stock.
Good place.
Right. And the jacaranda tree, as I understand, the Garden Club of Mims is trying to
Trying to save
it.